For more than a year, the EU has tried to preserve the nuclear agreement with Iran, devising schemes to help the Tehran government reduce the impact of US sanctions. But now that deal is in danger, like never before.
We are looking to find a way to preserve the nuclear deal, which we think is the best way of keeping the Middle East as a whole nuclear weapon free. Iran is still a good year away from developing a nuclear weapon. We think there is still some closing but small window to keep the deal alive.
One of the brokers of the original deal, known as the JCPOA, is clear about what must happen next.
We want to see Iran going back to full compliance, as it has been in these years. But we note that technically all the steps that have been taken and that we regret have been taken are reversible. So we hope and we invite Iran to reverse these steps and go back to full compliance with the agreement.
But how much sway do European voices have? Although the strength of feeling here in Brussels is pretty clear, no amount of words from the EU alone can compel the US and Iranian governments to negotiate with each other. For that to happen, there has to be a willingness on both sides to give ground. And on that, the view from the government in Tehran is clear.
When a big power that is a bully, well then we have to stand up to it. It must stop being a bully. We have always believed in talks. Always, right this hour, right this moment, if they stop the oppression, if they stop the belligerence, if they lift sanctions, return to the table, return to logic, we are ready.
So Iran denounces the current US administration while maintaining its commitment to the nuclear deal it negotiated with the previous one. And yet, Iran is also operating outside the terms of that deal in some areas. For several weeks, Iranian uranium enrichment has exceeded agreed limits, all of which has emboldened the Trump administration, with the US president recently warning officials in Tehran they were treading on very dangerous territory, which means that on the face of it, this meeting on its own risks achieving little. And all the while, Iran is technically in breach of its commitments under the nuclear agreement. Dominic Kane, Al Jazeera, Brussels.